All right. Good day. I'm here with Tim Wagner and Lou Valenti, both of Global Indemnity Insurance Agency in Metuchen, New Jersey. Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, Lou. How are you and how are your families?
How are you, Rich? Everybody's good. Thank the Lord.
All good,
Everybody's
Rich.
safe and healthy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Great.
that's the most important thing. Tim, we're here a little bit, we deal a lot in the restaurant industry. 80% of our clients are in the hospitality industry. Your agency has insured some of those clients of ours, and give us a brief overview of Global Indemnity Insurance and a description of your services.
Well, we started in 1988, almost 33 years ago. Primarily as a construction-oriented agency, and over the years we hired new people to broaden our spectrum. Basically, we're a generalist. We can write any type of business, licensed in almost all of 50 states. With the help of Lou, when he came on board about 22 years ago.
1998.
We've gotten into different lines of business. Most recently, due to the fact that we do write a number of restaurant clients, this nightmare came up 2 months ago, 3 months ago. And not only the restaurant business, but every business has been affected by this. And it's something that it's almost like a movie, Rich. It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's the first time for all of us to go through something like this, and nobody really has all the answers, and we're learning day by day. So I think every industry has to take it one day at a time. Mm-hmm. How long have you been in the insurance industry, Tim?
About 40 years.
40 years. Lou, how about yourself?
Started in 1982.
1982. That's the same year I started in the real estate business, Lou. 1982. When you talk about your small businesses and restaurant clients, who are some of the main carriers your agency represents?
Travelers, Hartford Mutual, Penn National. We represent approximately 20 insurance carriers as a direct agent, and also deal with many surplus lines companies as well.
I know that the insurance companies have been getting a bad rap nowadays, especially when it comes to business interruption insurance. We'll talk about that in a minute, but Lou had mentioned to me that one of your carriers is extending some favorable terms to one of my clients, MJ's Restaurants. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, the most of the carriers are giving them some leeway up to 90 days to make their payments. The only unfortunate thing on that, after the 90 days, those 3 months have to be paid in full, with the back premiums, and then their installments start after that. It's a reprieve, but I don't know if the restaurants are able to generate enough during those 3 months with takeout and pickup to sustain. It's
Right.
Very difficult.
Well, I think they're giving them a little breathing room with Lester. So they gave them a 90-day deferment on their payment, and they're still insured during that time, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. For that particular account, I think, what was the effective date?
The effective date was February, and they extended them to June 1st. But they also indicated to them, come June 1st, if things don't change, to please call. So there seems to be, more flexibility. Listen, they don't want to lose the client. They understand the situation. And I have not had one client call me back after they called an insurance company to work payment terms that said that it was they wouldn't work with me. Not one phone call. So it seems like all of these are doing the best they can to work with the customer under these terrible conditions.
Well, let's get to the tough question now. You know that a lot of these businesses are suffering. We just mentioned that. It's small business, and it's not only restaurants. And a lot of them are seeking to recover losses under the business interruption part of their insurance policies. Now, I know that from reading a lot about this, that the American Property Casualty Insurance Association has estimated that the closure losses for small businesses with fewer than 100 employees are between 255 billion and 430 billion a month. How can the insurance industry sustain claims like that?
Well, they can't. It's a situation where take a restaurant that has an exclusion for viruses. Some restaurants that I'm aware of, and which we talked about, Rich, have filed suit against some of the carriers that we represent to see if they possibly can get any kind of assistance. It's like anything else. If an insurance company or any company pays a claim that was not covered, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. I don't know if there's the state or the federal government come in. The biggest problem I see now is when these guys go for, or any business, this PPP, they have to hire these guys back, but their restaurants aren't open. They're doing takeout, they're doing delivery, where, from what I can see anyway, and I've asked guys that we insure, the majority of their business is not coming from the food. It's coming from the liquor sales. And it's crazy. I think possibly they have to spend that money within the 8 weeks. If the government can come back and say, hey, listen, we know you hired these guys back, the business wasn't there. Let's extend the payment back another 8 weeks until these guys get on their feet. But are they going to get on their feet with 25% occupancy? Or are they going to get on their feet with 50% occupancy? I don't think so.
No.
I don't know what the answer is. It's crazy.
You know, a lot of the policies, the business interruption, the policies do have the virus exclusion in there. But you know, a lot of these lawsuits that you mentioned, they're not really suing based on the virus. They're suing under the civil authority part of their policy, which is saying, look, the virus did not shut me down. The government shut me down. And I know that the business interruption, there has to be property damage, but their contention is that the property damage is that their property is contaminated. If somebody comes and touches a door handle or a knife or a fork or sits at a table and they contract the virus, you know, that's detrimental, and the government has shut them down because of that. Yeah. Now, nobody wants to see the insurance companies go out of business, but you know, there should be some type of remedy that could, you know, work for both sides, the small businesses and for the insurance companies. Do you have any input on that?
Well, you never can get an answer from the carriers now on something like this because there is no coverage for it. If the government comes back and gives a supplemental amount to the restaurants or any business, and reimburses the carrier, but it can't be for what the limits would have been if there was a charge and coverage for it. It's just like the PPP, you know, the payroll protection. You give them a small amount, just to, not that it's even going to get them back on their feet. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening now.
What about the talk? What about the talk of the federal government? And this is only talk in Washington. The federal government starting putting some money forth, as they did for the airlines, and a bailout to the insurance companies to help subsidize some of those interruption claims. Now, not everybody is going to be able to get business interruption insurance payments, because some of them do have the virus exclusions built right into them.
Into it, yeah.
Right. But there are some of them that don't have that, and why should they not get business interruption coverage?
I truly don't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
If the government was going to come in as they have with the airlines, looking into it, it's the restaurant industry is the largest employer next to the federal government in the country. How much can we give out as a nation? It's just I don't have an answer for it. I don't think anybody really does at this point.
Yeah, as we said in the beginning, this is like a day-by-day process. Nobody has. We've never gone through something like this before in our lifetimes,
No.
at least. But these small businesses are really suffering. You have a friend and one of your favorite restaurants that has been closed since March that has filed suit against his insurance company, correct?
Yeah, which is a carrier that we represent as well. And what I'm noticing is more so the fine dining, which his restaurant is, and a number of the other restaurants that I've heard that have filed suit against their carriers, they're not a takeout type of establishment. It's fine dining.
Yeah.
It's the pizzerias, the smaller little places, they're doing okay. I mean, I see the one right here in town in Metuchen. I mean, they're busy. They might be off 5-10%, but that's fantastic. I mean, these other places. I mean, most of it. Look at that restaurant that was in the malls. They couldn't last 2 weeks and they couldn't make a payment on their rent. There's one over in the mall. What's the name?
Yeah, they're all suffering. But the ones you mentioned, they would basically take out to start with. The pizzerias, they basically pick up delivery when they start, so they don't lose much at all. It's like you say, it's the sit down restaurants. It's the ones that have the bars inside that people come to congregate, spend a couple of hours there to get away from things or to celebrate or whatever the case might be. How about your business? How's it been affected or by this pandemic?
Well, we do a lot of construction here, and it's been quite busy. The one thing that's affecting us is most of our business is on what they call direct bill, where a bill comes from the insurance carrier to the client. Now they're giving them 30, 60, 90 days to pay. Our income comes in 30, 60, 90 days later. So normally it could be 45 to 60 days if they pay on the effect, on the date. Now it could be 3 or 4 months, but it's been quite busy. With the outside construction, the roads, the roofing contractors, and
landscapers,
landscapers, they're all working. The landscapers are a little bit hindered, from what I understand. They can go out, they can cut your lawn, they can do this, they can
put
do
shrubs,
but they can't put pavers on a walkway
or a patio. Try and figure that one out.
Yeah, but we're noticing it basically on that income coming into our office, and most of our business is that. So,
how about your staff at your office? Have you shut down your office? Have you laid off? Have you had to furlough anybody? Have you kept everybody?
Well, we just brought back. I had to bring back I furloughed 4 people that are all back.
They're all back.
Yeah, they were out for a couple of weeks. We're full staffed. We have some people that want to work at home. We're social distancing here in the office. You know, everybody has their own little section, but we're fully staffed, basically. The only office I have a little office over in Newark that's not. You know, they've come over here, and one of the young ladies that works there is working out of her house. She's working remotely, and the other fellow just came back.
So we're almost 60 days into this, what do you want to call it, lockdown, shutdown, whatever it might be, as we sit here in New Jersey, as Governor Murphy has mandated. You know, what would you, thinking back over the past 60 days, what would you consider to be your biggest challenge, whether it be personal or business-wise? What has been your biggest challenge over the past 60 days?
I've been working basically those 60 days. The most positive thing is the traffic. There is no traffic.
There is no traffic.
Yeah, it takes me just as, half the time to get to work. On a personal level, you're almost like have cabin fever. You know, you're in your house, and I have my 2 daughters and my daughter's boyfriend living there. We get on each other's nerves.
Yeah.
As far as business, we had a few people that were working remotely, and they all decided, listen, I can't get as much done remotely, and they came in. But we're all very separated. The office, thank goodness, is pretty big, so we can give each other space. Except Louis almost sitting on my lap right now.
I'm not social distancing, and I don't have my mask on.
And he doesn't have his mask on.
You know what? I wanted to just interject from a business standpoint. Tim and I have been doing this a long time. We have clients that have been with us probably 30 years, and so not only do we get that business relationship, but we become friendly with them, and we know their families and pretty much a lot about them. And the concerning thing is, when we're getting these calls from them, and a lot of them are hurting, and you feel for them, and they want to know what we can do. It's funny. I had calls where, can I pause my insurance? Can you call and just tell the company not to bill me? And unfortunately, we can't do that. The client has to call the carrier and try and work the payment terms. But you feel for these people, and they all want to know, where can I cut? What can I do? Can I lower my payroll? So, ultimately, your heart goes out to them, because they're not only clients, but you develop that friendship relationship with them. And Tim and I have developed that with a lot of our clients, and your heart goes out to them, and that's the thing. And you hope they hang in there. Has a couple of them, canceled? Yes, a couple of them canceled because either they were a seasonal business and they weren't starting up, so they weren't going to renew the insurance, or maybe they exceeded the time frame of the amount of days. Now, I just had one, for example, that was canceled after the extension, but yet the finance company turned around, called us up and said, you know what? I think we made a mistake. Get a no loss letter, and we'll reinstate the policies for them. And so
I think the finance companies are giving them 30 days.
Yeah, but they'll also
work with
the carrier.
But they have to deal with the client directly.
Yeah, all the clients have to deal direct with their carriers to work out payment terms, because there's a lot of information the carrier needs.
The one thing that has changed tremendously, and I don't know if it's going to continue, but I say at least through the end of the year, is that the clients on renewal time, because we work on them 60, 90 days before, they don't want to see you. Some of them do. I had an appointment yesterday for a couple hours with the client, but on the whole, all the stuff is being done via the phone or the computer.
Yeah.
And conversations with them, which I'm not used to. I'm sure Lou isn't, because we like to go out and see them. That's one thing that I can say that's changed a little bit on the renewal basis of a lot of the clients.
And you miss going out to see them,
Yeah.
Rich.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look, it's in all business and in my business as well. Look, we're doing this interview virtually through Zoom, but, usually we'd be sitting across the table or having lunch or dinner or something.
Right.
I miss seeing clients too, but, now's the time that, we have to work smartly and take less risks and see if, like we can say, get through one day at a time.
I think it's going to last a lot longer than we think, though, Rich.
Well, I think things are not going to get back to normal. I agree with you for a while,
Rich, I wanted to interject something, which is interesting. I've had a number of my contractor clients tell that, they're working and they have jobs, but you know what? There's a few or a number of them. The men won't come back to work. They're scared. I have one general contractor that 25% of his men reported back. 75% don't want to come back. The reasoning is they're scared they're going to get the virus. And I've had that with a few of my contractors. They're like, "Oh, I have to work," but the guys don't want to come back. They're scared.
Well, there's two scenarios with that. Okay, I could say that some of them are scared, but they're making more money on unemployment.
Yeah, a lot of them are. Yeah.
With the employment plus the extra check.
With the extra check.
Yeah.
And, it is springtime and summer's coming, and I believe that that extra $600 comes in for 4 months. Sometimes they want to work on their tan instead of working
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll have a job when the unemployment runs out. That's the big question.
Exactly.
We can't have short-term thinking. With unemployment or with opening restaurants or whatever the case might be. This is a long-term solution. This is going to be a long-term comeback for each of us.
It really is, and are all these jobs that people who have gone on unemployment going to be there? Are these companies going to see that possibly we might be able to work smarter and better with less?
It's going to be a change. There's going to be a change, big change, which leads me into my last question for you is, how do you think this pandemic is going to change the way insurance companies write policies in the future?
Well, my feeling is I'm sure that they'll have some sort of coverage for it, but the clients are going to pay dearly. Depending on what happens this fall and winter. If this thing comes back with a vengeance like it was, but we're a little bit more prepared somewhat. But there will be a charge. I don't know who's going to jump on first because it's almost, they follow suit. If one of the companies comes in and they say, okay, we're going to offer this type of coverage in the future, other carriers are going to come in and say the same thing. But what's the cost to the consumer?
Well, that's the real question. For a customer whose policy is up for renewal in June, right? Will he be able to find an insurance company that will include this type of coverage, even if it's not June, even if his policy is up in September? Will he be able to find a carrier that will include this business interruption? That's a big if out there right now.
And it will be a small limit, if any.
If any. All right, Lou, my last question's for you. Tim, I learned from Tim that you have a secret code name, LCV 24/7/365. Can you decrypt that code for us, Lou?
Well, basically, Rich, I'm like a gynecologist that's on call 24/7/365. When the client goes into labor, I'm there to deliver. That's all I could say.
Right.
So call me morning, noon, night. If it's Sunday and I'm in church, whenever it is, Dr. Valenti is there to produce.
All right. Look, you heard that. This goes out to about 12,000 of our customers. So you need insurance. You need to get your small business covered. call Global Indemnity. You can call them anytime. If it's after 6, don't call Tim, call Lou.
That's right. I'll be there. We'll deliver.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for your time. I hope
Thank
everything
you,
works
Rich.
out for
Thank
all of
you.
us. Have a great day, all right?
You too. Thanks, Rich.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.